Hey, good evening, everybody.
All
Good
right.
evening.
I
How's
see we
everybody
have
doing?
Vance back, so that's
Yeah.
good.
Vance, did you like the new intro, by the way? Because you
I
were, you
did.
were,
I did. Thank you for
didn't
the.
it?
I like the song.
There you go. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I'll take
Uh,
anywhere I can get. There. Gunsinthe701.com.
it'll be
Editing.
interesting tonight to see how many tune in. I mean, it's been a pretty nice day. It is raining here, but not everywhere. So, it's getting to be that time of year. But hey, let's get started correctly. Vance, you want to take us in with the 27 most important words in our Constitution?
Absolutely. A well regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Absolutely. And just a reminder that, as always, our show is powered by Lauer Auto Repair. He was the original sponsor, our
Mm-hmm.
headliner, 309 South Washington Street, guys, 701 258 6308. Lauer Auto Repair. We want to thank those. And of course, we've got a brand new sponsor that's also tagging in there, and that is Bloodline Kinetics, guys. Check them out, 28 Morrison Avenue, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701 390 7997. BloodlineKinetics.com. Jacob will get you set up real nice with some pretty nice custom guns. He does barrel threading, and I know he's already had some people coming in there. So if you need a barrel threaded, he's your guy up there in Bismarck now. So, yeah.
And
We're
the
good. We're good.
Cerakoting too. It says I've been looking at some of that because I like the concept of doing Cerakoting on sun guns and make
Oh,
them last
yeah.
longer. Yeah.
It's like putting rhino liner on your gun.
Mm-hmm.
So he's building me an AR. He's building Jamie one now, too.
Right.
And mine's going to be a cobalt blue with a brass Cerakote like on the barrel. I wanted it to be really flashy so that people walk up and talk to them. Hey, where'd you get that? And I can say, well, Bloodline Kinetics, one of our sponsors. So, that's
There you go.
Jamie's is going to be more Jamie. It's going to be camouflaged and look nice. And yeah, it'll function. They both function well. So, hey,
Well,
Brian, good to have you on tonight. And Eric, good. Thanks for joining in. There's the
there
Lauer
you go.
Auto Cup. There you go. All right.
Your tactical assault tumbler.
Tacticals. Suppose better
No,
get some
it's
black
orange.
ones.
It's safe.
It's safe. It's
Orange.
Hunter Orange.
I need a black one.
There you
There
go.
you go. Well, I don't know if we're going to sell them, but we're probably going to get some made up for ourselves.
Right.
And we're talking then if people like them, we'll take pre-orders. Basically, we got to hit what they tell me. I think it's 15 or 20, which is a case. Then you get a break.
Yeah.
But pre-ordered, and then we'll order. And we're not going to carry a bunch of inventory on that stuff.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yep.
Hey, before we get on to all the things we got tonight, real quick, we had a great show last week. We had, of course, representatives on. We had, was it Derek? Am I right?
Derek Sherwood, yep. And
Derek Sherwood was on, and that was a great show.
Representative.
And we got some flack because of that
We
from
did.
some knob out there that thought he was going to call Clay and be puffy, and that was funny. Yeah.
I didn't really put up with it too much, and
No.
we'll talk about it a little more. Maybe I want to make sure I get some more details on it. I have not I haven't had the chance to visit with the guy who heads up that bureaucratic wasteland, but yeah. I'll put it to you this way: I'm not the guy. Don't do it. Don't do it.
But it was a great show last week. Great show last
It
week.
was great show, good reviews. People really loved it. We touched some nerves, and I think it really showcased exactly what's going on in the state of North Dakota. I know South Dakota's got some of the same issues, and multiple other states. So that when you're going through a divorce, essentially there is a red flag de facto law because you can get in trouble for doing nothing just because your spouse calls and says, I'm afraid and I fear for my life, even though it's not proven, there's no factual basis for it, but boom, come and take your guns. And you don't even have to be there, as what was the case in Mr. Sherwood's issue there. They just showed up at his ex-wife's house and took all his guns, and he still don't have them back. So we will keep you posted on that.
By the way, don't forget to tell everybody we're also on Twitch now. So my son is on Twitch because he watches his sister play video games all the time, and he's got he's installed out in the garage where he's got his workbenches and everything out there. My son's he needs to hang out with you guys more. I mean, but he's got his TVs all hanging on the wall now, so he can watch stuff while he's out there working. Anyway, he's got it streaming up there, so Good for him. Another
Well,
guy on our
and
Twitch feed.
I got to welcome our Rumble guys over there. We got a couple comments coming in there. And how you doing? I see your comments, guys. Howdy. Good to see you on tonight. And we always want to encourage everybody to head over to Rumble, too. That doesn't show up here in our main thing, but I do monitor it, so it's pretty easy to do. Cool. We are working on something. Me and Mike got some soundboards.
Yep.
And we've been messing around with them. I think I'm going to mess around with it here over the next couple of weeks. And I'm pretty positive we're going to be able to take live calls at some point here. We're not going to do it every show, but we might take one show, during the month, or maybe when we do a special episode and say, hey, kind of like Rush used to do, for what do you call that? Something
Fridays or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
And we might do something like take a show where, hey, we'll have you call in and we'll discuss anything you want to talk about. Just keep
caller number 7. You're a winner.
Yeah. What did I win today? No knock raid.
Some of our anti-hunters might call us some.
Yeah.
That's all right. We've got some good words for them. That's the best thing about not being on actual radio is we can actually reply to them in the way we would normally reply. So
I've been hit with them heavy lately. And there's one on my Sportsman's Watch page.
Yeah.
She went on there so much to trash me that she got a what do they call them? Top fan badge. So I publicly put it on there and welcomed her to the site and thanked her for visiting our hunting page so much.
That's awesome. Putting it in the algorithm. Thanks for boosting that algorithm, right? Hey, Lynette, good to see you on tonight. Of course, I'm guessing Axe is right there with you guys.
I saw Axe like the show, so he's watching it from somewhere, I think, on Facebook.
I think they just got back from Florida, but maybe I'm wrong. You have to let me know, Lynette. It seems like Axe said something to Jamie that you were just back from Florida. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, we should probably get started. We've been messing around here now for 10 minutes or so. So first one we got. Oh, you want to lead with this, or you want me to go with this?
You want to talk about which one do you want to talk about?
The
traveling ban? Yeah. Well, I wasn't planning on going to Cicos Island anytime soon, so I guess that works out. But even more so now, of course, the Caicos and Turkish islands, which are British colonies, right? Is that my imagination?
Yeah, so, British overseas territory, they call it.
Right, yeah. So Guy was with his wife, and they just had a baby, I think, like 6 months ago. So he decided to take her out on a vacation and the little sun and this and that. And he forgot. He shook his. I saw an interview with him. He shook his bag and everything else. Of course, he'd been out hunting with that bag at one time or another. He shook it all out. He thought he got everything out, but there was like 2 or 3 22s still in there. And somebody from the Cicos Islands decided that is enemy number 1. And he is not the only one that they've done this to. There's like 4 or 5 other people that are also looking at long jail times, 10 to 12 years. He's looking at for this 10 to 12 years for 22 bullets left in his luggage.
So just the ammunition, no gun, nothing that can fire that
minimum sentence of 12 years. That's the thing. Minimum sentence is 12 years.
Minimum sentence, yeah. And his wife got to actually return April 23rd. His name's Ryan Watson, and Valerie is his wife. They got 2 children. Right. Yeah, they're down there to just celebrate this guy's 40th birthday or something.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they found the shells, or they found the actual loaded cartridges. I think they were 22s, but I don't remember. I was kind of looking through my stuff, and I've heard this report before. Anyway, and it didn't used to be as big a deal. I mean, he traveled all the way down there. It was when he's coming home, and they found it. And boom, now they're not letting him go. They did finally grant him bail. That's kind of an update. They granted him bail, but he still has to stay down there now. Yeah. So I understand he's a contractor in Oklahoma, and he can't get home. So now he can't work. Hopefully he's got a good crew and somebody he can trust. But he's stuck down now in Turks and Cicos because of 3 or 4, whatever it is, loaded cartridges that he didn't even know he had. And I'm telling you right now, as much as I've flown, and I know Vance has done it a lot, hey, I've made mistakes. I mean,
I have too.
I can remember I had a bunch of case knives. Remember when we had those as our volunteer awards? Kind of forgot about them because I'd been to the state meeting, and then I had to fly out to D.C. Well, I left them in my bag, and luckily it was in Bismarck. They kind of flipped out, and oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then I think something had happened, right before that. I was like, I don't know. I said, what are them? I said, knives. I mean, they did illegally. I let them illegally confiscate my private property with absolutely no reason because I wasn't going to mess around with it. And I had to catch my flight. But I've had that happen. I flew all the way to D.C. and back and realized I had a 22 round in one of my bags that I also use when I go hunting. Luckily, nobody found it. I don't know what that would have resulted in. Bismarck's pretty lenient, but I don't know if Dulles would have been so forgiving. So
No,
I got caught one time with a little baggie with trigger springs, and there was a trigger in there. And hey, I've been caught with baggies with other stuff in it.
That's all in the past. All in the past.
A long time ago. But it was just a trigger springs and some little AR parts. I had just built a gun, and honestly, I don't even remember why it was in that bag. It was in my backpack, my carry-on.
Right.
And they got me.
Wow.
Well, they got you.
Luckily, the TSA agent, he was really cool. And he kind of pulled me aside and said, listen, I know what these are. Probably a mistake. I said, yeah, man, honestly, I didn't even realize they were in there. And he said, I have to do this or we have to take it farther. He said, I'm going to toss them. I said, toss. It was probably $10 worth of parts.
Right.
And luckily I got a really cool agent because it seemed like they could have taken that into a really nasty direction.
But that's common sense.
Yeah.
Springs
and a trigger.
Even though I don't believe in taking the springs of the trigger, but at least the guy, he's doing his job on his side, and I, whatever.
And he could have, if I got a jerk, he could have taken that far.
Yeah.
He could have made a real issue out of that. I got lucky.
I was never in favor of the creation of TSA. I was never in favor of Homeland Security. I think Bush did a horrible thing. Federalizing our security was the worst thing we did in our airports. It has stopped nothing. There's been guys got things through that were bad guys. It's done nothing but, once again, as always, infringes on the innocent person. That's all it does.
Well,
and made us less safe.
On that note, near every airport in the United States now, there is a place that sells all the stuff that's confiscated from airport TSAs. It goes up on auction blocks. Usually sheriffs know about it and other guys like that. And of course, it's not really publicly announced. And they go in there and they buy these things up as lots, and then they sell them on eBay and everything else and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's become its own market.
Have you ever been to the federal surplus properties here in South Dakota, either of you?
I haven't.
I've been on the websites.
So, I'm still with the fire department. I have my card to go there. So we can buy stuff for the fire department. Well, I went there, and you should see the boxes of knives they have, just everything. And then you buy them by the pound. I kind of asked where they got them. He goes, well, that's some of the stuff that when TSA, takes knives from people, that's where it comes. So I said, so you guys illegally confiscate private property and then sell it for profit? I said, that's incentivization, really. Are you kidding me? And that's the problem with that.
They don't even publicize it. They don't even publicize it so that you don't know that.
And they only got once or twice a year when they have a public auction. When the public, and otherwise, it's the only people that can buy there from surplus properties is state agencies or fire departments or things like that. You cannot put an incentive in anything and not expect someone to take advantage of that. And that's not just in that. Look at everything out there that some law enforcement do. It's the incentive that makes it should not be for profit, period. It really should be about safety, but it's not. Anyway, getting back to this story. This happened in 2022 when they passed a new law down there. And it basically stiffened up the penalties for possessing firearms or ammunition. It's illegal for anyone to possess a gun or ammo on the island unless they are licensed by local law enforcement.
Right.
And the U.S. Embassy has even came out now and reminded travelers to be very cautious and that declaring items with an airline carrier does not give anyone permission to bring them into Turks and Cicos. Just because you declare them when you leave here and you land there, if you declared them, from what I understand when I kind of checked into this, they could arrest you on site because they know you got it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. When you travel out of our country, you will learn just how important the Constitution is and the rights that are possessed in it. A lot of people think that our Constitution's outdated, that the Bill of Rights is just a bunch of old guys that wrote a bunch of stuff and don't mean nothing anymore. I'm telling you, travel out of the country, even up to Canada, and see how fast your rights disappear. You don't have any.
Yeah.
This is
I want my phone call. No, that's the wrong country.
This is just getting, we're about to get into another story here about Minnesota, close to Canada. And I did some reading on their laws. Some of Minnesota's laws are already very similar to laws that are in effect in Canada.
Oh, yeah. Or California.
Yeah.
Yep.
Minnesota's got horrible laws for transportation. And, yeah, we're going to get into that. So we're about a quarter after. We're going to take a quick break right here. Thanks to sponsors, one of them being Lauer Auto and Bloodline Kinetics.
And not traveling to Cicos or the Turks Islands. So, sorry. Sorry, Cicos.
By the way, my advice is boycott going to Turks and Cicos. There's plenty other places to go and enjoy your vacation.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck, Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy, Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
All right, we're back, and hey, we got messages coming in all over. Maybe we got to get to a few of those here.
Yeah, let's get to some of those real quick.
So, just Axe is back. Yep, as I said, he's probably back from Florida. They had a good trip, I'm guessing. So Joe will get back home, right? I don't know, one shot. I imagine he can get through anything. Brian Warner, TSA missed it on the way there. Must have been too busy with fingernail clippers, belts, and shoes. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's also insane. By the way, there's also a case pending that's kind of off subject. I forget who's suing the TSA because they say you got to pay to play. You know, you can buy that TSA pre-check for $100,
right,
and you don't have to do nothing. They're saying, hey, wait a second. That's not fair. Not everybody can afford that. And then, so we'll see how that case goes. I love it when libs start eating themselves and devouring themselves. So Eric says, he goes, I had issues with a die-cast bullet with Charlton Heston's signature on it. That was a freaking goat rope BS. And I know what he's talking about, guys. Remember when we had those in the program?
Yeah.
They were a Charlton Heston bullet, like a 45 fake. It was all a solid piece on a key ring.
Yeah,
I remember.
And on key rings, and think about that. How many of us have something on a key ring, a little whatever, this or that? You know,
I still have a 45 Friends of the NRA on my key ring.
Well, I got hammered in DC. Remember when I had, it looked like a 30-06, but it wasn't. It was all plastic copper. It was a USB thing.
Yeah.
Holy cow, they raised hell with me. And I did get away with it that time. I just quit traveling with it because I didn't need that.
You remember those 50 cal pins that were out a bunch of years ago? We had a few of them.
Yeah.
I had one in my pocket once going through the airport in Sioux Falls, and they were giving me grief, and I'm like going,
yeah,
it's a pin.
Ridiculous. It's a pin.
It's a
plain
pin.
and simple. I get so, that's the problem when you create something like that. It's another bureaucracy, and some people get there and they get that power. Like, oh, I'm a TSA agent, and they're just going to do anything and everything they can just to hinder you. It's a disaster. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked since they did it. I think it needs to go away, and we need to go back to private security and let the airports take care of themselves, honestly. But anyway, that's that.
But I agree. And
then over, David says, he goes, it's, let's see, another one here. Oh, on Fridays, called Beetle Bumper Fridays. God save the Republic. David says, this is exactly why he hated going to Canada. Yeah, I mean, when you go up to Canada, so you can take a gun, but you got to check it at the border and get a non-resident firearms license. And I think then they get it to your destination so you can hunt with it.
Right.
You know what? I don't need to go to Canada for anything. Yeah. I always wanted to go up there, maybe try moose hunting or bear hunting or even go fishing. Now, I want them to get this much of my money. I'm not going to support that kind of crap.
Yeah.
I treat them just like, and I don't have to. We got great fishing in this country. I don't have to go up there. So.
I had a friend that was doing a Harley ride. He was trying to do his 49th state, going to Alaska, and he was going to go through Canada, of course. And he's an avid gun guy, carries everywhere, and he checks out the laws everywhere he goes, trying to do the right thing, and found out going through Canada, there's nothing I can do. So he got a hold of me to ask me if I had friends in Alaska that he could, get a gun when he gets to Alaska and carry and give it to him before he went to Canada. And I was able to help him out, but it's ridiculous. And he said, I didn't feel endangered at any times because he took a lot of the rural roads, trying to see the backcountry and everything on his motorcycle.
Right.
But he said it just made me angry that I could not protect myself if I needed to on that stretch of road going through there.
Yeah, absolutely. You take away your right to self-defense.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, you're probably like me a lot, both of you. I carry a lot of times. It might be a knife. It might be a gun. It might be a big gun. Most of the time, I like, which one I like to carry. It's that little NAA 22 mag. And it's just perfect to conceal, and no one knows you have it. Mine's in a Gerber pouch. No one even questions it. And that's all I need, honestly. And that's remember the sheriff down there? That's kind of where I got that idea. There you go. There's a good carry gun.
It's easily concealable.
But I know Mike remembers the sheriff down there in guys' county. That's what he carried. I remember him showing me that. David was his name, right?
Yeah, Dave Miles.
Yeah, there you go, Dave Miles. And I mean, he's right, really. That's all you need for self-defense. I mean, it's always nice to have a bigger one if necessary. But I carry that a lot and never get questioned most of the time anywhere. I proudly broke the law all weekend last weekend. I'll just say that.
One of the small 22s.
LCP Ruger 380. It's very small. I barely even know I have it on me. It's a get off me gun. It's a self-defense gun. It's not something you want to have a shootout with, but it's going to get the job done if I'm being attacked.
One nice one I liked from a few years ago, Clay, was that James Bond Walther 22, the little silver one that we had in our package for the Friends of the NRA, and said, I love that thing. And I never got a chance to win it. I had plenty of chances to win it. I just didn't win it, I should say. But it was it's one of the ones I need to get too. So that's a nice one.
And that was a popular gun. Everyone liked that one. I remember when we had the Kinetics. I thought those were a decent gun. They were light. They were easy to carry, easy to operate. That was those white ones. And you did win one of them.
I did win one of those, yeah.
The Stormtrooper guns.
Yeah, Stormtrooper. I thought they were cool looking.
And you know what? They've been kind of popular with a few people too. So
they were.
Some asshole online, I posted an everyday carry on Reddit because at the time I was carrying it. And some asshole says, well, it's white. You can't carry that concealed because it's. I was like, if it's concealed, how do you know it's
How
white?
do you know?
I don't understand your reasoning here. You get upset, and people just get upset and need to voice themselves over online for some reason. And I'm like, well, you're not thinking it through.
Should just really made him freaking flip out and go, well, I like everything white, including my gun. That'll set him off.
Well, anybody that knows me knows that's not true.
So Dave says if Clay looks excited, he might have a big gun.
Yeah.
That must be it. That must be it. So, well, speaking of guns and carrying,
and carrying,
who wants to lead off with the Minnesota one?
You got advance? You want me to do it?
Well, I hear Minnesota just recently did it pass?
Which one? The one we were going to talk about definitely has.
Carrying a gun in the car is now considered open carry, right?
So if you drive by, we talked about this weeks ago too. If you drive by a place and have a pistol or whatever in your car, it's considered, well, if you drive by a church, a bank, or whatever they want to make a soft target of, that is now considered, of course, breaking the law. So, yeah. So if we have an NRA sticker or a Don't Tread on Me sticker or something on our car, that's going to give the police probable cause saying, oh, you drove by this location, I can pull you over. Probable cause. And they'll use that. They will use that every single time.
Well, and the big thing we got going here is it is law in Minnesota, and it's considered, and I guess they applied the law. It's always been a law in Minnesota for a long time, that if you carry a rifle, I think it applies to pistols, even a shotgun, they have to be unloaded and in a case with ammunition stored in a separate place.
Right. That's before this law passed.
And now, what this is essentially Minnesota is going to now be considered a public place in your car with a gun. And what happened with this is a guy had a BB gun with him. He got pulled over, the way it sounded to me, for something else. He had a criminal record. He's a suspect in a Cadillac converter theft back in May of 2022. And it's in Ramsey County, which doesn't surprise me. Ramsey County is Minneapolis, so
St. Paul,
apply that. They searched his car and they found a BB gun. Guys, a BB gun under the driver's seat. He was charged with illegally carrying a BB gun in a public space, not in a car, in a public space, which is the law in Minnesota.
So hold on. Me driving my private piece of property down the road is now a public space?
Yes.
The vehicle that I'm paying taxes on and paying the note on is...
Each tire you have to pay a tax on, all 4 tires. That's right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Carrying, and I mean, you think about it, carrying a gun in a public space. To me, it looks like we'll go through the story. It just came through the court system is where it got there. So what happens is BB guns are included under this Minnesota statute that prohibits carrying rifles or shotguns in public. So unlike here in North Dakota or unlike in South Dakota or even Texas, guys, before they had concealed carry, you could actually sling an AR over your shoulder and carry that around. That was legal. We have open carry in both North and South Dakota. You may carry anywhere you like, pretty much, as long as it isn't prohibited, which could be, the government buildings, unfortunately, and a few other places. But essentially, you have open carry in both states. Not in Minnesota, especially not, and they specifically not with shotguns or rifles. So BB guns are considered a rifle as their definition. Now think about that. How dumb is that? Something that's sold in a toy store, seriously, is prohibited to be carrying in public. So my question is, before we even get into this, so the little kids that got their BB guns running around outside, are they carrying in public?
According
to this rule, yes. Yes, they are.
That's what I would say.
Well, here's another question, Clay. You've got boys, and I'm sure that when they were younger, they had BB guns. In fact, I know they did.
Yeah.
If your boys are in your vehicle on your property, you guys are out checking cattle or something, how's that play?
That's a good question. In Minnesota, I bet if somebody illegally came onto my property, who knows? They probably don't have good property rights over there.
Oh yeah, I doubt it.
Then my first question would be, what are you doing here and where's your warrant?
Yeah.
and then I'd probably pull my real gun on them. But I'm telling you, I'm glad I live where I always say this, I never thought I'd live in the freest place in the world. I live in a rural area. I live in the middle of the reservation. The state stays out. The county leaves you alone. The feds don't come in. The tribe's got no jurisdiction. I mean, I never thought I'd be in the freest place in the United States, and that's on a reservation as a white person with deeded land. Seriously.
That is true, Clay, but you almost had to shoot down a drone over my house one time.
Yes, I did. But see, I got too far off. Well, we'll go into that later, but with Macintosh. But yeah, that we should have done it. I found out it was only $100 fine.
That's worth
We
it.
did chase it down. We found out where it went.
And then they claimed that they didn't do it. I said, well, then we got nothing to talk about, do we?
Yeah, that's right.
If it didn't happen,
then you didn't see my shotgun aiming at your drone.
And it didn't take off like a bat out of hell, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, yeah, that's a whole nother story. I couldn't believe that crap. I was like, what is that noise? And drones were pretty new back then. And
Yeah.
I heard the zzz, and I look up and I was like, look at that. I walk over to the pickup. I grab the shotgun. I aim it right at it, and it took off. And we followed it and tracked it down.
And we had just come back from hunting.
Yeah, we had. We were fully loaded, weren't we? But so getting back to Minnesota, to have a BB gun in a public setting, it needs to be unloaded and kept in a gun case. However, there are exceptions for people with pistol permits or under certain circumstances, like bringing the weapon home after a purchase or taking it in for repairs. So there was pretrial motions. B's attorneys were able to successfully argue that since the gun was in his car, it wasn't carrying in public. The complaint against B was dismissed by the district court. So the district court threw it out and said, you're right, there's no standing here. I kind of went in there and read the court case.
Right.
That judge said, you're right. There's nothing here. Oh, no. The state of Minnesota, they appealed the decision, which then it was brought before the Minnesota Court of Appeals. Court of Appeals leaned on the past case, State versus Service, in its ruling. Like the B case, the defendant in the Service case was charged with carrying a pistol while under the influence of alcohol after a gun was found in the center console of his vehicle. Okay, that little paragraph, there's a lot more content to it when you go look at the case. The guy was a criminal again. He was drunk. He had a pistol, not a rifle, which really, there's different rules for pistols in the state of Minnesota, and it really shouldn't have been used to apply. To me, it was a huge stretch. Not just that, Bruin has happened since then, and it's also a violation of Bruin.
And I don't understand the whole thing about him. I mean, I understand ex-cons are not being allowed to have weapons. That's one thing. That's a whole nother subject too. But BB guns, I don't understand that. I mean, to me, if you're, I don't know, if you're going to go into a grocery store with a BB gun and threaten to rob them with that, you're taking a big chance that the guy behind the counter is going to look at that and go, "Oh, it's a BB gun. I'm going to shoot you now." So it's
you could, but and it depends on where.
Dumb hill to die on, but I don't understand it. It's the BB gun to me. It's like my son is 16. He's got 9 BB guns he's collected from all these auctions we go to. We collect BB guns whenever we can. He's got them in a case over here. He loves them, but he likes shooting rabbits with them. He likes that stuff. I don't understand it. It's just for convicts or whatever else. I don't understand it. I don't understand why they are not allowed to have them, but I don't know. I guess.
And I'd have to go back and see what took place when it was actually, that statute was passed and why BB guns were included. My guess is that they were going after air rifles, which are different than BB guns in my opinion. An air rifle has some power.
Yeah.
Again, not dangerous. I mean, any more dangerous than anything else, and they're not regulated either. You can buy an air rifle.
Right.
That's just the way it is, and I suppose that's maybe what their premise. I don't know. I'd have to go back and see.
Give it some time.
Passed.
They'll go against that too.
Oh, they're already trying.
Something that concerned me about something you just read, Clay, was it said, and for carrying in a vehicle, if you just purchased it or taking it for repairs, that's legal.
That's when you're allowed.
Which means you have
but it still has to be cased.
Which means you have to have proof that you just purchased it. Has to be a paper trail. proof that you're
Well,
taking it to be repaired. So there has
okay.
to be a paper trail. So that's more recording of my firearms.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a private purchase, which now the ATF is, they're going to basically call us all dealers.
Yeah.
You wouldn't necessarily have a paper trail because I don't know about you. I bought a lot of guns for cash. I had no proof of purchase. My proof was I had it in my possession, and it was a private sale. And we all know where this is leading, guys. They keep chipping away. They keep trying to come in back doors, and it's leading up to either both registration and confiscation, and that's what they want. That is the utopia that they want. So getting back to this case, I think that it was a stretch to try and do that. The gun charge was dismissed by the district court. It made its way down to the Supreme Court, which they ruled the vehicle could be considered a public place. So in the state of Minnesota, their Supreme Court has ruled that your car is a public place, but they did add one thing: while on a highway, because the highways are public transportation. And
That's
when I read that decision.
Yeah.
That's not in this article, but I had to go look it all up.
Mm-hmm.
And that, when you read the Supreme Court's decision on how they came down on this, obviously they hate the Second Amendment when you go look at a lot of their decisions. But they're now ruling that your car, your personal property that you had to buy, you paid tax on, you get taxed again for license, you're required, there's a multitude of things. Now it's considered a public space. Think about it. Your car is now a public place, a public space if it's on the road. So my question is, if it's on the road and you stop, can anybody jump in it and drive it? It's public.
That's right.
That's not my way of looking at it. My way is looking at it is to, like you said earlier, if you find a way, if you put a law in there that has the possibility of being abused, that's going to be abused. I mean, think about the police officers out there that abuse the power now. Now they're saying, well, it's a public space. I can look in it all I want. I don't need your permission.
That's right. Good point, Mike.
I mean, that's
they probably
exactly
they definitely just violated constitutional rights to be safe from warrantless searches and seizures.
Yeah, that dabs into the Fourth Amendment pretty heavy, actually.
Very heavy on that one.
And like you said, Mike, can you imagine some cop who hates freedom, hates the Constitution? And trust me, they're out there. Not all of them are good. They're not all great guys like Dan Brown was. I run into a lot of them.
Could you imagine a guy driving around with a MAGA sticker or a Trump sticker and
probable cause
on public property, so-called?
Yeah, and just because you're on a public road does not make your car public. I'm waiting for that challenge. I imagine this is going to be challenged all the way through. I can't imagine they're going to I know that it sounded like Gun Owners of America was going to get involved in this, and possibly the Second Amendment Foundation. Actually nailed it. Klaus Schwab. You will own nothing and you will like it. And that's exactly what they want, although there's a few of us out there that we're not going quietly.
Well, that's what we've been saying for years, Clay, and I've heard Mike say it too. You never own a piece of property.
Well, I know. That's why, we're trying to get rid of property tax here in North Dakota. And, if we get, I don't know, I got to check with the group and see how many signatures we are short. We still were short some signatures, but if we can get it on the ballot, I think it'll pass. And it needs to. You never own your property. If you are taxed on your property, you don't own it. And you want to challenge me on it, prove me wrong, good luck. Because if you don't pay your taxes, what happens?
They take
send
your property.
men with guns. They send men with guns and take your property. Think about that.
So if they take your guns, you have nothing to defend the property you've already paid for with.
And if you do, and we had a little thing up here in North Dakota, a Gordon Call incident, and that had to do with taxes and payment, and they sent men with guns to eliminate them.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me that they're just doing their job, piss on their job. Them cops were wrong. Those agents were wrong. They were working for the government. They don't work for you and me.
Hey, Hitler's soldiers, you know what they were doing?
Their job, right? Even though they were putting bullets in the back of the Jews' heads, right?
Yep.
They're just doing their job. Well, a bunch of them hung for it at the Nuremberg trials, so maybe we got to have that. I don't know. Eric, it's horrible when you're a student of history, right? Eric says, no need for a taxi anymore in Minnesota. Just jump in with anyone you want. There you go. Maybe we ought to try that.
There you go. Good point.
Hey,
You were headed in
stop,
my
stop.
direction, man. This is public property.
Yeah, what do you want? Well, it's public property. There's a Supreme Court decision. Now, take me now to town.
But let's stop by White Castle's first because I need something to
I'm gonna
eat.
stop at the bar and have a few drinks. I'm gonna need you to pick me up here in a little
Yeah, no charge. It's public space. You know, Mike, I guess I should have known that. I drove, you know how many White Castles I drove by on that trip?
Oh, God, I
Not
miss
even
them.
far from where I was staying.
Even with I've had open heart surgery. I've got to say, it's still once in a while I've got to have a White Castle. My cardiologist does not approve, but where is he?
Speaking of that, did that take place? You and I were
Yeah,
talking
I had
about?
a thing yesterday. I got to go have a stress test again. Of course, I've lost a bunch of weight, and that's good. Not as
Good.
much as I want to lose, but it's I'm trying to work on. I'm actually on the Ozempic thing too, so it's working out for me, and it's kind of good. But
Okay.
and they won't let me take the real strong stuff that lets you lose like 40, 60 pounds.
Yeah, what is
Because
that called?
my doctor says it'll make me healthier. It'll be better for my heart. He says that I'll be better for my knees, be better for my back, all that stuff that hurts, and everything because I've got all this weight. So I'll drop like 60 pounds, but I can't because he went to school for 8 years to be a doctor. The nurses he's with went to school for 4 and 5 years to be a doctor. They go every year for retraining for other stuff, but there's a bean counter at the insurance company that says, I don't need it.
Ah, yes. Well, they know more than you do.
Yeah.
Money counters no better.
Don't you know that?
Yeah, exactly. Same
know
bean
way
counters
more.
that make them ask stupid questions like, do you feel safe in your home? So just remember that.
Hey, the first time I got one of those stupid questions about guns in my home or feeling safe in my home was not here in Georgia. It was up there in McIntosh, South Dakota.
Mhm.
Really?
And Connie, the nurse, who y'all know, or I know
Yep.
Clay knows,
Yep.
she was waiting for me to get to that question, and she grinned because I looked up, and she laughed, and she said, "Vance, you know you don't have to answer it." Asked me if I had guns in my home and asked me if I feel safe in my home.
When you scratch out some of the words and you write in, I feel safe in my home because I have guns.
Yeah, I feel safe. Exactly.
I'm in a
I
doctor's
did,
office. Y'all are about to start poking me with stuff. I don't feel safe here.
Yeah.
So, did you hear about this? And I seen the prelims. So there's an anti-gun senator out there also.
Oh, yeah.
From Minnesota. So we'll just piggyback off it. Senator Nicole Mitchell, she was charged here last week with first-degree burglary. Think about this. Here's a diehard Democrat, hates guns, was doing an event just days before with the moms demand confiscation, as Jamie's dubbed them, and I agree. Doing this big thing about, take your guns away. Well, how convenient that she's charged with first-degree burglary. I mean, isn't it easier to rob people when they ain't got a gun?
Well, I've got to
you
tell
can
you,
make the law?
in all honesty, she is actually walking the walk and talking the talk. She took herself off the streets as a criminal.
There you go. See, I need my new board. I could have the laughter in the clapping.
Yeah, there you go.
We got these new boards, but we haven't figured them out yet. We'll get them figured out.
We'll
You
get it.
need Colton over there to get you dialed in.
Probably. He kind of knows what he's doing, doesn't he? So, well, I'll tell you what, Mike, you want to roll us into our triple ad, and we'll take another break and thank some sponsors here, and then come on back. And we still got more, guys. We got more to go.
Well, we do. And all I have to do now is go down here to the videos and find that triple ad button. But that's all right. You don't mind me. I'm going to hit this, then keep looking. How about that?
I'm from the Athlete's Foot Foundation.
Brother, hey, can you get my demo tape to somebody?
Located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck, Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
This is the point where I'm supposed to be playing the other spots, but instead I have to sing because we don't. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I got it for you. Okay, I got.
Thank you, because I don't see the buttons. There you go.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting Goods. Your adventures start.
All right. We didn't have Bloodline on there, but we'll get them taken care of. So
Okay, good. All right.
I like the new spot for Mandan. You did.
Yeah, I like that one. I finally figured out how to take his voice out of the old spot and put it into the new spot. It looks pretty good.
I thought it worked real well. So thanks to all of our sponsors, Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington, 701-258-6308. And I tell you what, spring is here. Summer's coming. People are going to be out there, hitting the dog town, doing a little fishing. So might as well stop in there and get your vehicle serviced and checked out. Make sure it's ready for all them open roads. So
Remember, better to get it serviced than having to get it fixed. So
that's right. That's right. All right, guys. So the next one.
Yeah, what we got next?
Well, which one do you want to hit? I mean, we got a lot of stuff here, but
we do. But I got to tell you the one story I want to hit here real quick. Did I hit the right thing?
Oh, go ahead, hit it. We're kind of winging it tonight, guys.
We're winging it. That's all right. We were better at it last time. Oh, that's some old stuff you sent me. Okay, never mind. See, I get stuff from Clay all day long, so I got to disseminate between everything.
Hey, there's lots out there.
No, the Garland thing had me on that. Of course, you always say saying the stupid stuff or the quiet part out loud.
Right.
Now he was during his first ever gun violence survivors summit with the ATF. Like to know that our ATF is spending our money properly. Anyway, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland made remarks that have certainly turned some heads in the pro Second Amendment community around. He has basically come out and said that, yes, admitted the majority of the violence is attributed in the United States to repeat offenders and gangs. Not the law-abiding citizens that own guns, not the ones they're going after. What? That's why we need buttons on our little thing right there.
What? Are you kidding? What are you talking about?
But of course, it's one of those things when he's actually reading off the study, and the study says exactly the opposite of what the anti-gunners and the anti-gunner community wants to say. But hey, why don't we put that on a commercial? That's what I'd like to see the NRA and the Gun Owners of America do. Put a commercial together with his word right there.
You mean the NRA is not responsible for all those crimes and all those gun violence and all?
I would have never guessed.
Us members here, we're not responsible?
Amazing, right?
I mean, the media made it sound like we were the bad guys all these years.
Yeah. How about that? They have a gun violence survivor summit. Did you watch that video at all in that link? Yeah. What a bunch of crap. I mean,
yeah, it is a bunch of circle jerk, reach arounds. So, I mean, it's just,
yeah. And I do brought up something on.
Oh,
is that Clay's internet or ours?
That's Clay. That's Clay right there. Apparently, one of his sons turned on the Wii or something because all of a sudden,
go tell the boys to turn the Wii off.
Oh yeah, I'm down to like yellow bars. Am I all jagged?
Yeah, you're all fuzzy like I normally am. I think one of them turned on one of those Oculus Rifts things or something like that.
Tell Landon to turn his games off.
Yeah.
Well, when we do the badass of the week, I'll run up and chew some ass about that.
There you go. There we go.
Well, I
Okay,
know
so
what's happening. We're getting a little weather
Blame the
here,
boys.
and I imagine that the Starlink is a
there
little
you go.
bit.
You
what's
look a little better
happening.
now.
The better. And I see I'm at green again. Now you're in the yellow, Mike. Oh,
Oh,
there
wow.
you go.
I don't
All
move
right.
very much. I'm a big old guy, so.
So anyway, so Merrick Garland says it. He said the quiet part out loud and basically admitted that the majority of violence is attributed to repeat offenders and gangs, that we've seen this. Well, here's a little study right here. 80% of firearm homicide victims have an arrest record. Ah, who knew, right? I mean, really. And if you look at it, the gender is male. You know, it's almost you could say it's 9 out of 10 is male to female is what
Right.
you got there. Race is non-white. They don't tell you. I tell you what they don't have it in there. They just have non-white. You got 281 versus 1,050 as far as in this study went. This is from 2023. That was the latest stats that came actually from the Department of Justice. When they go with what is their ethnic background, Latinx, that's a new one,
Yeah,
and non-Latinx.
And let me go ahead and tell you right now, the Latino community does not like Latinx, but
I'm
apparently
sure they don't.
It's the new hip thing to say, and of course when young kids walk up and go, "Oh, I'm so down with the Latinx," yeah, they don't like that too much. It's not a thing the Cubans really like too much down in Miami.
So in that category, 83.4% is a firearm homicide victim and they've been assaulted by somebody with a record. Marital status: married, 11%. Divorced or married, but separated, 4%. Never married. What do you think that number is?
Never married?
Yeah.
72%.
84.9, basically 85%. That doesn't surprise me.
Them bubbas need a good woman.
Settle them down. The median age is 26 years of age.
And nothing ever happens after 10 p.m. in the bar properly.
So think about this. These are real stats from Department of Justice. So you got non-white males aged 26 years of age, non-married, and never been married. They're the majority of people committing crimes, homicides in particular with firearms, with arrest records already.
Yeah.
So why do we need more gun laws? That's what I'm getting at.
Oh no, we've quoted Vance last week and many times, and it says we've got 22,000 gun laws now. We don't follow the ones we should, and we do follow the ones that persecute everyone else. It's one of those things where it's like they'll use the laws against us when they feel like it. Just like this thing with Minnesota. It's like real simple. I see a sticker in the back of your car, there's probable cause. I'll come up with the laws because if I've got a badge on, I'm Johnny Law, and therefore I can decide what's right to do to you.
Well, here's some interesting facts, too. So they have Illinois broke out in this somewhat.
Oh, yeah.
So predominant victim demographics, 79%, over 79% of all firearm, this is Illinois, guys, homicide victims had a prior arrest record. And they were predominantly male, black, and under 30. This was just in Illinois, this one. That doesn't surprise me either. Firearm homicides on the rise, U.S. This is in the U.S., basically a 38% increase from 2018 to 2020. Primarily, what do you think which state was? Illinois. Illinois homicide rate surges. And they are actually 58% higher than the national average. That doesn't surprise me. Just flip on anything over the weekend, and you can see what's happening in Chicago every single weekend.
Yeah, WGN.
I was about to say that whole state is made up as the laws and everything
revolve around
Chicago, just like here in Georgia.
Yes. Yeah. Link between substance abuse and homicide. It's significant. It says there's a significant 38.6% overlap between controlled substance arrests and firearm homicide victims. So they're drug related, male. They're not white. I mean, this is not hard to put together.
Not married.
Not married. Yet they want to have this these summits. They want to have the brand new gun violence office, whatever the hell they created with their bipartisan act that people like Corrin, a Republican out of Texas, voted for. And now they're out there saying it even. But that doesn't matter. They're calling for more. They're calling for more. They're telling the ATF to call everybody a dealer. They want you to keep paying $200 to have a suppressor or throw you in jail, which we're going to have something about that coming up.
As a citizen, I'm now a gun dealer because they're making me a gun dealer. And my car is now, public space.
Only on a road.
Oh, only on a road. I'm trying to figure out some way that I can do my taxes here, that I can depreciate my business on the road. I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with it. So
maybe we could get an FFL license and call being it's a public area, our car. That's our premise now.
Come on now.
How far around our car would be our yard?
It has locks.
Yeah.
Put bulletproof glass in it. It should meet all the standards for having an FFL.
Well, they'll say something about you. Well, you don't have a urinal in there or something. I've got a Mountain Dew bottle, but
a disability ramp.
Speaking about that, and I don't want to get off on this rant, but I saw a story this week about a 10-year-old boy who was waiting for his mom to come out of the grocery store because she was getting lottery tickets. And he couldn't wait anymore, and he went around the back of the car, and he peed on the back of the car. 10-year-old boy. The cops saw him, arrested him, and charged him with public indecency.
Oh, you kidding me?
Took him down and booked him as well.
You've got to be kidding me.
No. And I believe this was Georgia, and I believe this was Atlanta. So I'm surprised you did not see that one, but yeah.
When Clifford, both y'all know Clifford, when Clifford was born, we were going to the hospital, and my oldest son, Jonathan, Clay's met him.
Yep.
We were walking into the hospital, and John Boy decides he has to pee. He pees in the bush next to the opening doors at the hospital. Don't think twice about it. I look around like, where's John Boy? He's standing there taking a piss in the bushes.
How old?
He was 6.
Yeah. The first time Jackie, when he was like 4 years old, just turned around and peed next to the garage on the tree like that. I'm just like going, buddy, the house is right there. But it's just what kids do, and it's what they're. Hey. But 10-year-old boy, just thought I'd say that. Throw that one out there. A 10-year-old boy.
That's crazy. I mean, boys will be boys. I remember being out at the Shade Hill with Clay out at the cabin once, and Gunner, Eric's on here. Gunner was taking a dump in the bushes next to the picnic table.
Hey, we free range them out here.
Boys, man.
Yes, they will. David, he says from Rumble, he's going to need a van for access to this disabled, and that's our reference of calling our FFL.
There you go.
Speaking of Eric, he says, I guess I got to get a faulty gun because it sets on my nightstand and hasn't caused any violence.
So far,
it must be faulty.
I got a bunch of them. They're all faulty. They don't commit anything, darn it. Huh?
Can you write that off because they're no good?
Right. I don't know, but you can write one off a year for predator control. I know that.
Really? Well, what if you shoot multiple predators with different guns?
Hey. No, you only get one a year.
Oh, see, that's just that's how they get you.
Or ammo or reloading supplies. You can get by with a certain amount. You don't want to go. I suppose if I buy a Barrett 50 A82, semi-auto, that they probably ain't going to let me take that and depreciate it or deduct it.
Did you tell them that the varmint was coming right at you?
Right.
It was big.
We have big coyotes.
I'm telling you, the Predator was huge. He had an ATF deal on and a Black Hawk, and I needed that. I mean, I can't let them Predators on the place. I might have pissed off one of the other sponsors.
No. Hey, I by the way, speaking about that, I was editing up I've got a bunch of the badasses of the weeks banked up now, so I'm working on some other ones, and I was going to put that in there, but we were talking about how we pissed off the sponsor.
Don't worry about that. He ain't with us no more.
That's all right. Well, so
not with us.
I was doing this thing where it was showing where in the rise of terrorism in the 70s and 80s, and this is one of the guys that started Delta Force, and I had put into the video, I had all these terrorists and then I had a bunch of ATF guys looking through someone's garbage. And I had it in there just so to see if you notice it when I was talking about terrorists. And then I pulled it out temporarily, but I might put it back in now. I don't know.
Yeah, go for it. Ain't gonna worry. The sponsors we have on our side, don't worry about it.
Yeah, there we go.
Good. We lost one and we gained another. So
there we go. That's fine.
So
some people
I want to thank everybody over there on Rumble. They're tuning in. I'm glad to see that. So we got a good following over there. We got quite a few on our other sources, and the website is showing me we got about 9 to 10 people tuning in there. So hey,
there we go.
I'm glad to see everyone's. You know what? I wasn't sure the way that summer's coming on, the weather's getting nice, and I know nobody wants to sit inside and listen to anything, but
well, like I always said, I've got the little phone thing in my car. I've watched when I wasn't here. I've watched the show. I've watched Jamie on 701 Nation plenty of times, coming back from church or whatever else, and watching him on the thing. So
but he's got a good show lined up for tomorrow night that we're going to hit on here a little bit later. So it's top of the hour. I'm going to take one quick break. Basically, I want to do our double sponsor, which is our two-head, basically Lauer Auto and Bloodline, because they are our big sticks here. So let's take that, and then we'll come back, and we got one more thing, and then we'll do the badass of the week. How's that sound?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck, Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cicos? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy, Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
And
welcome back.
Good job again. I always had to tell Mike that he did a great job bringing both them in with some great voiceovers. And hey, sounds even better yet.
30 years of radio, and I got one skill.
Well, we're glad to have you on board. So again, thanks to Lauer Auto Repair. This show is powered by Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. And don't forget to call them 701-258-6308. And I know Axe is always listening, and we definitely appreciate his support. He's been there since the beginning with us. So
Dakota's no more, so I'm not close to Axe's shop, but I had the privilege of watching him work on our swamp buggy during our hog hunt.
Yes, he did.
And that guy jumped all over it with the quickness and got it done.
I tell you what, they resurrected that old girl, and it did break down again. We know what we need. We need a new carb. I mean,
needs a lot of stuff. It sat for 2 years. I parked it 2 years ago, the last time it was used. So I know for a fact it sat for 2 years, and he resurrected it, got it going.
I would love to get down. I wanted to come this year, but I can already tell you the way my summer is going. I'm not going to make it down there this summer, but maybe next
I will
year.
get back down there.
I'm kind of hoping to possibly over the winter. I mean, it's crappy here anyway. It's a good time to go to Florida. Maybe go down there and we can do a little work. Who knows? Maybe
well, since I'm canceling my plans to the Cicos Islands.
I was about to say, bring that guy with you.
Yeah, he needs to go, don't he? Although this time I think I'll be flying for that trip. I enjoy the drive. We were a little cramped in there this time, but we made it through. It was a long drive, but and Waylon, he did it just with flying colors. You know how that went. He made it all the way to Florida without cracking a beer. He's listening
That had to be hard, man. That had to be hard.
So yeah, Wales says he's listening here now. Been busy spring turkey season for helping others get them harvested. Good for him. That's great. And
Waylon can get people on them too. Waylon has blessed me with my first Merriam turkey, antelope, and mule deer.
Yeah, buffalo too.
And buffalo. Yeah, that's right. Waylon can get you on them.
So yeah, and Waylon, I'll visit with you here. Him and I, we bought a chronograph together, so. We'll visit. I want to kind of take it a 2A day, so I think we'll have some fun with it.
Remember, that every buffalo we don't harvest each year is one that can take down a tourist out in the
It's getting close to that season, ain't it?
It's getting close to the
season.
Tourist tossing season.
Terrorist season in the hills, yes. Pants hanging from horns everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so before we get to the end of the show here, let's hit this last deal. Because I think this is an interesting one. I don't know. I own a suppressor. Do you own a suppressor? Mike, do you have one yet?
I do not have one yet. I do want one. And actually, it was kind of fun because Jack's got this really nice Boyd Gunstock 22. What is it? 1022 Ruger that we had a doctor in town put it together for one of our banquets, and. And it was a beautiful. It's got a heavy bull barrel on it, but it's a great little gun for varmint shooting and everything like that. But I tell you what, that thing needs to be threaded, and I need to talk to Bloodline about it. It needs to be threaded and needs to have a silencer on it. That would be a great one to go do.
Suppressor.
Prairie dogs. We were looking just north of where I am in Mitchell, up around the Huron area. There's some prairie dog towns that have popped up like all over in this one area. And I was saying, we need to write down their number and call them up and see if they don't mind us coming out and spinning some brass, taking those out for them. So, I'd like to get a silencer for that.
Yeah, I tell you what, there's nothing. I love my suppressors. I know Jamie just picked up another couple. And guys, guess what? It actually did get easier. If you go now and you do it now, doing the trust still takes a while, but if you're just individually buying it and you do the electronic submission for the $200 confiscation money, you're getting it within a day or two. I mean, Jamie got his back it was like a day or two. So that's pretty impressive, really.
Yeah, that is.
So
not like it used to be.
No, I mean, I waited for months when I got my first one, but I did create a trust. That was part of it. But I don't mind that. That it was different then. The rules have changed a little bit. So yeah, I would highly recommend if you want one, go get one. Now it's amazing that they relaxed that. But they should have been able to do that for years with the electronic stuff as fast as things are.
It never should have been a law, period.
It never should have been a law. That happened in 1934. And then it was reinforced under 1968 Gun Control Act. It should not be a law, especially when you got socialist countries like Britain. Think about this. Over there, or Africa, or South Africa, you can buy them off the shelf because they're considered a tool for hearing protection. Mm-hmm. No, not here. $200 tax stamp.
That's crazy. But in England, but in those countries, in fairness, you can only have 3 rounds and a bolt action gun.
Well, you're only legally.
The funny thing you mentioned that is I got a friend named Dwayne, and he moved down to South Africa, and I missed Dwayne down in Africa.
Well, I caught that, by the way. I caught it. Yes, I hate that song.
I'm sorry.
Especially when I'm listening to a certain radio station in the tractor, because it's the only thing that comes in. And I do like my 80s and 90s rock, but I'm telling you, that song can cram it. I hate that song.
Hey, remember, if you steal that joke from me, you're stealing it twice. So that's all right.
I listen to Smooth 70s a lot.
That's our era, man. I can't help it,
Yeah.
But, yeah. Go ahead, Clay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Jamie says if they really want to impress me, get rid of the damn we were talking $200, and it's per item, guys.
Yeah,
that's per item. It's a bunch of crap.
And
really
that exactly is what it's all about. Is that money?
Well, they're now with the popularity of Suppressor, they're raking in money.
Mm-hmm.
I should go look it all up. I'm sure it's out there, and maybe Jamie and I
pay me to give you your rights back. Clay's been saying it for years, as long as I've known him. All these fees and everything. This is just they take your rights from you and
sell them back.
You to give them back.
That's what a concealed carry permit was, and I used to catch a lot of flack because we didn't have carrying in a lot of states. People forget this. So what was the step? Okay, I know we're not going to get constitutional carry and restore it. So yes, I did get on board with getting concealed carry permits and then reciprocity. And guess what? It finally it was a 20-year battle.
Yeah,
that's how it works with these freaking politicians.
Well, we had a few other gun organizations too that put a cog in the works because they want it all or nothing and they want it right away. And you know what? It takes longer than that. It does. I mean,
you gotta, I've been involved in this a long time. It's like, we had Ben Compliment on last week, and him and I, we mentioned it on the Stand Your Ground. Me and Magram had a different bill in there, and it was what we wanted. And he came in with a bill that we knew we could pass. It was done on purpose. We actually introduced them both so we could kill ours and make the compromise to pass the other one with these holdouts. And that's exactly what happened, and it passed with flying colors. Now we can tweak it. And they did tweak it last session. I didn't realize they'd gotten some of that done because I wasn't paying attention. So some of the tweaks we needed, but there's still more. And Ben's all for it. It's nice to have guys like that and Senator Magram and a bunch of them others that are willing to step up and make that stuff happen. So I'll probably be in Bismarck a lot starting January this time because we're going to have a lot of gun legislation up there. But so here's the one I like. And that might actually lead into some legislation we got through 2 sessions ago. But Texas is challenging the federal tax on homemade silencers, and it's scheduled finally for oral arguments. If you look at the numbers here, and this comes from the number of registered suppressors. This is BATFEs. I mean, you're looking from 500,000 in 2011, and the last stat is January of 2023 to 3.16 million suppressors now. Think about that. Yeah. So they are more popular. State of Texas is challenging it. It went through and it's moving forward in the Court of Appeals now for the Fifth Circuit. Oral arguments are now scheduled for April 29th. So they heard them. I didn't realize that. They heard them here the other day.
Right.
So I'm going to have to go look and see what it is. It's Paxton versus Dettelbach. And we've talked about this case on the show before. And HB 957 became law in Texas on September 1st, 2021. And the lawsuit required it basically. Ken Paxton, he's a pretty good guy down there. He's the Attorney General. He amended his lawsuit and included arguments mandated by a Supreme Court ruling now in the Bruin case, which published, of course, June 22nd, 2022. Judge Pittman on the district court dismissed the case with the claim that the state of Texas had no standing. This no standing crap, guys. Mm-hmm. And we heard this last week from Derek, his case, this no standing. Mm-hmm. They use that when they don't want to address it and leave it alone.
Right.
Just because the crime hasn't been committed does not mean you can't have an argument, but that's what they use it. And I'm not going to go into that. He explained it real well, so go watch the episode last week.
Right.
And he pinpointed it perfectly as to why no standing came about and why it shouldn't be used. And he's absolutely right. So they kept going on with this. Essentially, it's going to finally be heard. And essentially what they're saying is if you, kind of like when Montana and North Dakota both passed a law that says if you make a firearm in the state of North Dakota or you make a firearm in the state of Montana, everything's made there, purchased there, assembled there, and sold to a Montanan, or if in the case of North Dakota, sold to a North Dakotan, you don't need to go through the ATF because it's not a federal issue. It's a violation of the Commerce Clause, really. And I agree. Why on earth do the feds have any regulatory jurisdiction over something that was produced in a state completely 100% and doesn't leave a state?
Yeah, I have to ask, I don't know what y'all know about machining, but a guy could make a suppressor in his garage with a lathe.
Very
They're
much so.
not that hard to make. I have access to 5-axis CNC machines, which can produce a suppressor pretty darn easy.
Yeah.
I mean, literally in a matter of an hour can produce a suppressor. Now, let's say I own that CNC in my garage. I cut myself out a suppressor. I put it on my firearm. Now I'm illegal? Now, it's no different to me than what if I don't know, cut the exhaust off of my hot rod Chevrolet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just or put an extended exhaust on my loud hot rod. I'm quieting it down. I'm making it safer.
Yeah.
I don't understand where the government has ever gotten into the mindset that they have the control of what I do in my home with my personal property.
Well,
leave me alone.
They know best, don't they?
There they go.
And how we got here at this point in our society versus even in the 30s when the NFA was passed is lack of education. It started decades ago, and the next generations were never taught that they had these freedoms, that they should stand up for these freedoms. No, I mean, I remember when I didn't do well with this, but you were taught to basically shut up, sit there, and do what you're told. Well, that never has set with me very good anyway. I always question everything, especially people in authority, because people with absolute power are absolutely corrupt too, generally.
That's how they got
That's right. And I don't trust them, and I will never secede total control of any government, ever. I don't care what law they make. It's like I keep saying I'm going to get a T-shirt now that says, I do not comply. And that means everything. I've quit complying to a lot of things, and I'm going to continue to do so. So I imagine, I will become a criminal by the stroke of a pen, throughout the
one way or another, and they continue to do that. One way or another, they're going to try to do that.
We all do already right now. I mean, really. Let's see. Dave, he chimes in here. He says, man, it's just laser engraved, not for hire, and then you can. There you go.
Dave's referring to some DOT laws there.
Yeah. Is that some sovereign citizen stuff right there? Yeah.
So, this case, what it's saying is and that they challenged it on standing. It looks like I'm the guy out. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear it.
I hear you. Oh.
It's just me and you, Vance. So,
all right, I'm back.
You're fuzzy.
All right. Well, anyway, this whole case challenge is basically what the appellate brief is saying is that a Texan may make a firearm suppressor for non-commercial personal use in Texas. But the National Firearms Act of 1934 says that they are required then to apply for permission from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, pay $200, as Jamie pointed out, per item, refunded if permission is denied. If permission is granted, then that firearm suppressor still cannot be made unless they serial number it. Now, think about it. They're telling you you're going to make something for your personal use. It's only going to be yours, and you can't do anything without the permission of the federal government. I mean, this is insane, guys.
And they're marked.
See, yeah.
And then that's, I hate to sound like we just joked around about the sovereign citizen stuff. I hate to sound like a sovereign citizen on that, but I mean, that's basically asking for the king's seal right there. And
that's right.
I just don't buy that. I just don't buy that.
And basically what the whole argument is do Texans then have standing to challenge the constitutionality of these statutory requirements before applying for permission and paying a tax? And does Texas also have standing to vindicate its sovereign interests as its own citizens for their health and their safety? And finally, after going and being dismissed and being thrown out, they now have it scheduled. Oral arguments are scheduled April. Well, they took place Monday, so I'm going to have to go see what happened. Maybe they're not done yet.
Yeah.
So they finally got a court case, and they were able to make their case. I hope that they do find that they do have something here, and maybe it'll be kicked back and say, hey, district courts, you were wrong. Now we have Bruin. You better base it on this. I've never believed that we needed to have this for suppressor. So this could have, honestly, if it goes right, this could be just like Bruin. this could have an overwhelming effect nationwide for all of us to take the same stand and have our, and like I said, North Dakota already kind of has this. It's manufactured, produced, everything's done right here in the state of North Dakota. We have said then you as a North Dakotan, you may purchase that and you may bypass the federal regulations. They don't make it, doesn't mean the feds won't come after you. But we have a state law that says that we can do that. And I have always said states are supposed to have more rights than the feds. That was how it was designed.
Well, you see, the whole thing, I was thinking about it earlier, is that ever since the Civil War, and of course I'm a unionist, so whatever. But ever since the Civil War, when you bring up, it's been played off by the other side, the left, whatever side that was then, that for you to claim state rights automatically puts a negative connotation on you. So if you're claiming states' rights, then there's a negative connotation, unless it's something they want. Then it's entirely different, obviously. But states' rights have, and you see it in newscasts all the time. Whenever they bring up a slant on someone claiming states' rights, it's always given in the slant as if they're a lesser being or not that smart or something like that. It always comes out like that.
Right. Well, and
because the government knows best.
So two things happened after we had the 13th and 14th Amendment, right? 13th Amendment abolished slavery, and Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Okay, that was the 13th. So in the 14th, I don't know if people realize what happened there. All persons born or naturalized in the United States are subject now to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. You realize up to that point, we were citizens of our state, part of a union.
Well, that's the United States of America.
But we weren't subjects, and that wording was important. And they always, and I think that's where we lost a lot of our rights, and maybe where a big detour took, because we then became essentially subjects to the crown, and nobody, I think some people realized it, and now it's really being used that way. Because you got to remember, the 10th Amendment left everything not mentioned in the first 9 amendments.
There goes Clay.
Killed.
There goes Clay.
So
there it is.
So right there, they robbed, and it's got a whole bunch of things about it. But they did rob a lot of the states their sovereign right to govern themselves because we were supposed to have a weak central government with strong state governments, so that we would be a government of the people by the people, and that's what happened there. It really is. So there's your history lesson, guys.
Speaking about history lessons, and I hope this one gets shown a lot. By the way, of course, the Palestinian protesters all over college campuses right now, of course, indicative of the old days of protesting on college campuses. But I just don't think they have the same leg to stand on as before. But watching the men and women of the college, I think it was either UNC Chapel Hill, I'm trying to remember, but they went into the big flag post that's there that was had taken down the American flag, and they had put up the Palestinian flag, and the kids got up there, they took it down, they put up the American flag, and they surrounded it to keep the Palestinian protesters away from that, so they couldn't take it back down. And you know what?
Yes.
Make a statue out of that. You want to make a statue out of it? There's a bunch of kids doing what they feel is right, and they've got some standing on that as well.
Well, it was right.
It was right.
You know what? I'm sick and tired of seeing foreign flags raised over this country. This is the United States. This ain't Palestine. This ain't Mexico. This is the United States. Fly our flag. It even pisses me off when I see Canadian flags flying at the same level as the U.S. like I did at RDO out of Valley City. When I called them, they just, we never had no complaints. I said, well, now you do. I said, what the hell? That U.S. flag code says the United States
flag is
will
always
be the
high.
highest flag. And they didn't think it was a big issue.
Bring it up in a court sometimes in Kentucky when the judge has it behind him, has it lower than. Yeah, I got in trouble for that one.
I just want to put this out here, guys. I made the first complaint. RDO, that's John Deere, right there outside of Valley City, North Dakota. That's where they manufacture. get on their ass and tell them to get that flag higher than the damn Canadian flag. That's absurd, and it's offensive. You want to talk about offensive? That's offensive. Really?
You know, there's a celebrity named Danny Trejo. He's a Mexican actor. Always plays tough guy, biker, gangster type of guy, and he's Mexican.
Ex-convict that turned his life around.
Absolutely, and he said, you know, it irritates him when he sees all these people flying these flags from other countries. He said, there's nothing wrong with being proud of your heritage. Be proud of your heritage. But you came to this country for a reason. You
Become
left
an American.
those countries for a reason. Embrace your heritage, but
Absolutely.
you came here to be an American.
Absolutely, and that's the problem. We're not.
The concept of
becoming
melting
American.
pot has gone away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it don't exist. Those people who came before, they came here for the American dream and to become Americans,
That's
not
right.
hyphenated Americans. Americans. Yes, they had descents from Germany, Norway, Ireland, wherever it might have been, but they came here for a better life. They truly did. We needed people at that time, and they wanted to become Americans. They didn't want to become Irish people that lived in America, still practiced like they did it back home.
Yeah.
I mean, really. So, well, guys, I think, let's see. We got one more. We'll take it. We'll put this one in here. That's Jamie. Shockingly, the leftist mayor of New York City said today, no flag will fly in that city instead of American flag. And that, yeah, I did hear that. Finally, right? I mean,
Guys, I will be in New York City next Wednesday night.
Oh, lucky you. Maybe you have to get some video for us. Maybe you have to do a live, right? We'll have to do a live
from Times Square.
Live from New York City. Guns in the 701 correspondent, Vance Bishop.
I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to call yourself Guns when you're in New York. We're going to have to call you the Boom Boom phallic symbol,
Oh, my goodness.
formerly known as Pointy Pointy Shoot Shoot.
Pew, pew.
And on that note, Mike, would you like to give us an introduction to the badass of the week?
Well, we've got a badass of the week this week, and we've gone a little away from the norms of this. Matter of fact, we're going back to the Civil War times on the Union side on this one. And I have had some people ask me, says, what about badass women? And well, I have you covered on this one, kind of. So let's check it out. Badass of the week here on Guns in the 701.
What up, badasses? Well, it's time again for the Guns in the 701 Badass of the Week. And this week, we're going back to the Civil War for Francis Lewis Clayton, also known as Frances Clayton or Jack Williams. What? Yep, she was seeking help to receive back pay and bounty money owed to her and her deceased husband during the Civil War. She traveled around the Midwest as she headed from Missouri to Minnesota, and then from Minnesota to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then from Grand Rapids to Quincy, Illinois, and from Illinois to presumably Washington, D.C. to locate someone with authority to grant her request. It's nice to know the bureaucracy has been around for a long, long time. Anyway, along the way, she spoke to some reporters about her previous double life as a Union soldier. Now let's go back just a little bit. Frances Lewis Clayton and her husband were from Minnesota. Her husband's name is not exactly clear. One newspaper gives it as Frank Clayton, and apparently a confusion of Francis's own name, while another source named him John or Elmer. I don't know how you do John or Elmer, but that's what they did. Anyway, following the outbreak of the American Civil War in 1861, the Claytons decided to enlist in the Union Army, with Frances disguising herself as a man named Jack Williams. They joined the Missouri Regiment that was mustered in St. Paul, Minnesota, and for another 22 months fought side by side at the Battle of Stone River from December 31st, 1962 to January 2nd of 1963. Of course, their service did come to an end. In the assault, General William Rosecrans helped the Union control on central Tennessee, while Francis's husband succumbed to a bullet wound that he got on the front lines. Now, forced by the ensuing battle, Francis told reporters that she had to step over his corpse during the conflict. Shortly after this fateful day, she reported her deception to the higher-ups and was discharged from the Army, even though she was injured 3 times during the 18 battles that she supposedly fought. Of course, she notes that her identity was never revealed. Now, from 1863 to 1965, her name appeared in newspaper articles reiterating the story. In addition, she had pictures taken of her in and out of Union military dress in 1865 by Samuel Mallory. Now, that was a photography guy out of Boston, Massachusetts. These pictures became several of the most well-known photographs of women soldiers in the Civil War. However, the authenticity of her story has been questioned by historians. Several of the newspapers have contradictory information, such as what regiment she served in and which battles she fought in. Also, newspapers focused on her cross-dressing more, because heaven forbid they could do a story on a woman who fought in battle. Now, there were no records revealing if she ever received a pension she sought, or where she went after 1865. And because of the lack of evidence, some historians wonder if she did fight or fabricated the story for money and fame. Now, if she did fight in the Civil War as a female soldier, then she became part of the ranks of Albert Cashier, born Jenny Hodgers, who fought for the 95th Illinois Infantry, Loretta Janetta Velasquez, who served as a soldier and a spy in the Confederacy, Sarah Rosetta Wakeman, who enlisted as a private Lyons Wakeman, and numerous other women soldiers who have been lost to history. Now, the War Department at the National Archives contains no discharge or hospital records. It's possible that Francis simply fabricated her story and posed in a photographer's prop uniform to include a non-standard infantry jacket, an officer's sword, in an effort to profit from the war via donations and a fraudulent pension application. But it could go the other way, and it did in many cases. Clayton and her story have served as an inspiration to many, including Beth Gilliland, who produced a 1996 play called Civil Ceremony. Either way, she did have supposedly the wounds from several battles. Now, as Jack Williams, she could have served. Many women have done so. And it goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War. And it goes all the way back to wars before that, in time immemorial. Like I said, no real proof, but I got to root for the girl. That's right. I think she's a badass. And I think she was in battle with her husband because she didn't want him to go off and fight alone. And that's why I consider Francis Lewis Clayton, otherwise known as Jack Williams, as a total badass. Well, this has been Badass of the Week on gunsandthe701.com. We appreciate all you, of course, that have tuned in to look at this. And remember, in order to do more of these shows and more badasses out there and through history, well, it always helps to have a little money to pay for equipment, to pay for studio time, and all kinds of other stuff. See that little icon up in the corner, the QR code? You can go right there and either check out, of course, where you can donate a little bit of cash, $5, $10, whatever you feel like, or you can even buy some of our merch from the gunsand701.com store. So check that out if you have time. We would appreciate. And remember, if you got a badass in history you want us to talk about, you can always send us an email at gunsandthe701.com. It's that simple. And we'd love to hear from you. And remember, as Clay always says, keep your powder dry and stay safe.
Mike, I did not know you were a feminist. That was
there you go. Yeah, I have a lot of different sides to me. That's right.
Nice job again, Mike.
That
That's
was
all
good.
I can say.
I enjoy those. Those are good segments.
Yep. Absolutely. So I'm getting that. Looks like we got the sound. I got a few people like, man, that's loud. And guys, some of the advertisements are too. We'll fix that too. I can just run that through and re-edit the sound. Not a big deal. So good job. And next week we got another one coming up. Should we tell them who it is or let them guess?
Well, I'll give you a clue on this one. It is he's a chef on a big boat.
On a big
Steven
boat.
Seagal?
Oh God, I paid to see that movie. Oh, I forgot what that was. That was
the only thing I remember was the Playboy bunny.
Under Siege.
Under Siege. There you go. Nice.
Worst actor ever.
Oh,
ever. Yeah, just.
Yeah, Under Siege.
Do this a lot.
Isn't he like a real sheriff somewhere in wherever county?
Yeah, down in New Orleans or something like that. Yeah.
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 That's like Shaq. Shaq is a deputy sheriff down in
Here in Georgia.
Down in Georgia?
Yeah.
Well, that says
he lives
always
about half hour from me.
Yeah.
really. Well, that says always interesting. The badass of the week.
There
So,
we go.
Great segment. So, I'll tell you what.
New about Mike.
What's that?
I learned something new about Mike. I did not know he was a feminist.
There you go. Yeah. There are many sides to me. I know.
And guys, I have been taking those and uploading them separately on our stuff. So when you hit like YouTube or there, I can't do it on the Rumble side, but I definitely can do it on the CommieTube. So go ahead and check that out over there. Just find the playlist "Badass of the Week."
There's a few other badasses out there, but I'll tell you what, it's not hard to find us. Guns in the 701 badass, and it comes right up, and so good to go.
Perfect. All right. So we got. Let's just move in. We got some things coming up. So tomorrow night. And he's moving it up to summertime time slot, 8 o'clock, I believe, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Jamie will be doing 701 Nation. He's going to have life-saving skills every gun owner should know. And by the way, get your wife's tampons. It'll help you out if you get a really bad wound. Anyway.
That is an old school trick.
Yes.
Valuable, but old school
Valuable. Trick. Hunters are shooting more old bucks, and the doe harvest is up. That's another one. Yep. Silencer, suppressor, or can. What do you call it? Celebrity Hero of the Week. Chiefs quarterback Pat Mahomes. Mahomes. Anyway, he's got a good show planned out. I unfortunately am not going to be able to help you out tomorrow, Jamie. My son has his spring concert. He's actually got a drum solo, so now I have to go. So I will be in Lemon for 2 hours so that I can watch 5 to 10 minutes of something I want to see. So,
there you go.
Late. Yep. So,
well, at least it's better than that thing I sent you yesterday with the kids with the hobby horses.
Unbelievable. That was a competition. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. Whole stadium for it. There.
Oh yeah, awesome, right?
Just be a happy parent out there in the audience. Oh, that's my son on the hobby horse. Oh, good.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So, and we do kind of have a little lineup, maybe coming up on Friday. We try to do this ahead of time, but a lot of things sometimes change between.
This is a very fluid week. It is.
It is. But we are right now looking at doing, and I kind of think we'll try to do this for sure, and that's the drop now in Nick's background checks in March of 2024. This is the first time, guys. This has been a streak. We've been covering this on Mitchell in the Morning for over a year, and it's been consistently going up. This is the first downtick. Gun sales and background checks are slowly dropping. I don't know what to think about that. Maybe people they got a lot of guns, or let's face it, inflation is horrible. Yeah. And gun prices have went up, and people's dollar don't. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're probably busy, buying food, gas, heat, whatever, electricity. The essentials because the economy Joe Biden has created for us. So,
Clay, just real quick. I'm curious as to ammo sales because personally, I'm more apt to buy ammo right now than I am guns.
And you know what? Maybe we'll see if we can't find a little extra information and see where ammo sales are. Yeah, absolutely.
Here in Mitchell.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, here in Mitchell, we've had our water, sewage, and all that go up twice in the last 2 years, and we have it going up another 2 times by 2027. So we'll be paying double for just a couple of years ago, but it's okay. All those Biden Build Back Better hats you see out there. You don't see them either? Oh, okay. Maybe it's just anyway.
Dave says, more Savage, more ramen. So buy more Savages and eat more ramen. Then you'll be good.
There you go.
Running out of money. That's right, Dave. He had that running out of money, and I think that a lot of people are facing that right now.
I have a lot of good recipes for treat and spam.
Treat.
Spam.
I don't.
Spam's so good.
See, spam
I think treat's worse. Ugh.
See, treat though doesn't have all that gelatin, all that pack in there, so that's the why I like it better because But yeah, go ahead.
Well, the spam, it's worse now than it was when it was 20 years ago. Not that it was great for a guy, but now it's kind of like, what is this? It's just like a big can of lard with a little, who knows what kind of meat in there, but it's not what it used to be.
Man, you fry it up real good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I still eat
it. Meat on some crackers.
Absolutely.
I cook it up for sandwiches.
Vienna sausages.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What is that
Heartburn
stuff?
from hell
What's
with
that
the
stuff,
shit.
fans, called sriracha sauce?
Sriracha?
Oh
Sriracha
God,
sauce?
yeah. Put a little of that
Yeah.
in there. Oh yeah, that's great. Go ahead. We're going to
Well,
turn it into a cooking show. It'd be
yeah,
guns,
no,
guns
well,
in the
you know, we
701
could-
cooking
you
show.
we could do an episode with that someday, and maybe do it in conjunction with Jamie and put it on 701.
Oh, you know what? I got to
We'd
tell
have some
everybody,
fun with that.
if you haven't seen Jamie out there getting ready to smoke all the sausage the other day on his post for Son of, oh, that looks so good. And I tell you what,
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Hey, we
I've
can
had
talk
some
about
of
some low country boils, some southern boils, and
Oh,
some
yeah.
fried
There you
catfish,
go.
some alligator,
Hey,
and all kinds.
Vance is the one that showed me how to do boils up here, and now we
Yeah.
have fun when we go down there at the
There you
cabin. Lynette says, "When was the last time you bought Spam at Spendy?" It's been a long time. I haven't bought Spam in a long
That's
time.
why
but
treat
yeah.
is only still $1 because nobody wants it but
Nobody
me.
Not a treat.
It's a treat.
It's
treat.
not a treat.
Actually, I'll just tell you this right now. There are 2 cans of treat under each one of our vehicles here in the house. My wife doesn't know that she has 2 cans of treat underneath her seat. But there are always treat in case I am ever in an accident and I can't get away from the car. There is
food of something.
There is nuclear safe food underneath the seats
Nuclears.
that I
It'll be
can
good
at least
20 years
survive a
from
little
now.
longer. Hey, it was that guy that got trapped for 5 days. Some fishermen found him over the winter. The fishermen found him. Of course, he was for 5 days sitting under a bridge, a pretty well-traveled bridge, and no one knew he was there. I mean, he survived on eating crackers and rainwater.
And rainwater. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Water's important.
Water's
Water.
important.
So the other thing we're going to maybe try to hit on Friday, Commerce Department is planning to permanently now throttle the exports of America's last manufacturing sector, and that is the firearm manufacturing part of it. They had a 90-day pause. I don't know if you remember all this. Well,
Yeah.
as always, guess what they're going to do? They're going to make it permanent by fiat. We'll just stroke a pen, done.
The
Can't have
seal of our
anything.
king's ring.
It's getting insane, and I don't know. I'm going to look. There was another Minnesota thing, and I know me and Todd's from Minnesota, and it's our neighbor over there. I kind of like doing things about Minnesota because, especially on the gun stuff, because there are so many people that travel back and forth to there.
Right.
So we'll see what that goes. And then Tuesday night, guys, and I believe that's at. I don't want to get this wrong. Do you remember what it was, Mike?
Oh, shoot. You sent it to me, too, and I'm sorry about that. I should print more stuff out.
Just to say, okay. Here's what. Okay, so May 7th, next Tuesday, guys. Kelly Armstrong, U.S. House of Representatives rep right now for North Dakota, and governor candidate is going to be on Tuesday night with Guns in the 701 and 701 Nation,
Right.
7 p.m. Central Time. So that's the plan. That's what I got down here. So
May 7th. May 7th.
May 7th, guys. So I think that's going to be great. I know that Kelly and I've taken a lot of flack for this because, Kelly, some of his votes haven't been the greatest in the House. But I'm telling you, on the Second Amendment, Kelly is solid.
Yeah.
And I've always said that. I know how his votes go. Not everybody's perfect. But I can tell you right now, on the Second Amendment, I don't worry about him at all.
Right.
And the guy, he hunts, he shoots bows, he shoots guns, he shoots ARs. I mean, he is very well rounded in that world. And he don't own guns because it's great for hunting. He owns guns because it's a Second Amendment right, and he'll tell you that. So tune in. I think I'm going to be on. I'm not sure, Jamie, yet. I'll talk to you probably tomorrow about that. But if I'm not, Jamie will do a great job with him. And I know that you guys will have questions, so don't be afraid to get on and ask questions. Be respectful, as with any of these guys. We're trying to get as many of them on for the primary and let everybody hear them out. And we'll even have a Democrat on, which would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
So anyway,
did you book my wife? Oh, there you go.
No, does she want to come on?
She is a candidate, right?
She is a candidate, but no, she doesn't want to come on.
I would love to interview her.
I remember when you and her, were so good friends, and I just don't understand her nowadays. Why she thinks this show has taken me away from you. You have taken me away from her.
Mike, I just got one thing to say. Don't send that text.
Don't send that text.
Yeah, it all started.
It all changed with that text.
It all changed. There you go.
I mean, there's even a picture somewhere I know of me and her. I'm wearing my. Let's see which one was that?
You were wearing Trump.
Was it Trump?
Yep, you were in Trump.
Okay, which
Yeah.
one was she? So she
And
must
she
have
was
been wearing Hillary.
Obama. No, she was wearing Obama.
Well, Trump didn't run against Obama, so that
No, but that's all the shirt she has. So,
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
we got along good. Well, I stayed at your place that night, so that
Yep.
couldn't have been all bad back then.
No, it was all good back then. Back in the good old days.
The good old days. And here we are again. So we're getting the team back together. I mean,
teams back together.
Jamie was part, you were part, Vance was
Mhm.
part, all of our NRA stuff. So yeah, who else can we bring into this?
Keep whaling in reserve.
Yep. There you go.
Always got to have Scott and Jesse around.
Yep.
And we've been on there back and forth. We've had them on, and we've been on theirs, and yeah, it's just kind of fun. I mean, I never thought I'd be doing this. I'm sure you guys didn't either, but hey, kind of fun.
Been checking out some of the episodes, the past episodes from Shiloh and the gang on their podcast.
Yeah. I was glad that they joined us last week. So they nice. Did. Marty Beard's listening because he just sent me his deal. He's got spam. What else he got in here? Marty, I'm taking a look. You got spam. You got chicken breast.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the just add spam. You got a couple cans of that. Sardines. Oh, them are a must for survival, aren't they?
Love sardines.
Thanks, Marty. We love it. Good to have you back here. So yes,
I like the mustard sardines.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to do a show. You know what?
It lasts forever.
I see a show coming. Just something where we're out there cooking our survival food.
We need to do that.
I think so. And we can do that. These cameras are portable outside.
Yeah. Oh no, we could film a few things and edit it down. That'd be pretty good too, and just play each one. So
do that. Yeah, Waylon says, yeah, Clay and Fran get along very well for presidents. Yes, we do, don't we? Franny loves me.
Yeah.
So, pound sand. Anyway.
Yep. I know.
Well, guys, I guess that's pretty much a wrap tonight. We kind of I think we covered everything we needed. We're at about hour and 45. So
yeah.
I'll thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said, don't forget tomorrow night, 8:00 p.m. Central Time, 701 Nation. Jamie's got a great show coming up. Friday, Mitchell in the morning, 8:40. Our slot till the Twins are done. I hope they don't make the playoffs. Anyway, 8:40 Central, 7:40 Mountain. And then right back here on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central.
You're doing me.
Yeah.
I always get that wrong.
I know. I'm kind of thinking, I'm going to see how Jamie's show goes. Maybe we need to push that out an hour summertime because people are kind of busy, but I don't know. We'll see. With that,
we're out of here.
I don't have anything else. Guys, stick around here when we're done, okay?
Yeah, got you.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see everybody next week. Same time, same place. Keep your powder dry, and always look around your left shoulder. You never know